Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Apex Racing TV here with the Radical Racing Challenge here at Le Mans. I am your host, Aaron Smith, and I'm joined by Sam Fitzpatrick for round 4, I believe, of this incredible championship. So far this season it has been absolute chaos. We had the opening round, which was At Spa, it was okay. It wasn't too bad of a race. Then at Okayama, fairly calm. Everyone taking it easy, per se. And then last week at Interlagos, which was absolute chaos from start to finish. Sam, what are your predictions here at Le Mans?
Well, I honestly am just hoping for a competitive race. We've got the potential for 6 laps of slipstreaming. And that's it. I want that. I don't want someone to get away in the early stages. I don't want them to be unnecessarily fighting for the first few corners. Let's get a nice line of cars and have some fun racing tonight. That is all that we can hope, and I think the drivers will be hoping for that as well.
I cannot agree with you more. The slipstreaming here is extremely chaotic, but oftentimes we don't get to enjoy it enough, as a lot of the time that we come here is in endurance racing where everyone's calm, they're collected, they don't really care what's going on, they just want to make it to the end of the race. Well, with only 6 laps today, who knows what we're going to see. People are going to send it into each corner, even the Porsche curves. That will be very interesting to see some cars going side by side in there, as these cars are fairly low speed compared to the prototypes that run here way too often. But I think it's absolutely going to be a fantastic race to see how these drivers cope with the track conditions and, I mean, of course, the Mulsanne, possibly the most iconic straight in motorsports, and see how they handle it if we see some overtakes, multiple overtakes on lap 1 even, by the same drivers in the same battles, just battling for that slipstream, overtaking once, then overtaking again on the same straight. The slipstream in this car is so powerful. As you see, David Rowlandston going very wide there at Indianapolis. Coming into the Porsche curves, how important do you think qualifying is going to be here?
I think you can have a very chaotic first few corners around this circuit, honestly, and I think in one sense it doesn't matter, because obviously you can just slipstream your way through the order. You know, overtaking's not going to be tricky. But I think at the same time, I've just been scarred so many times with a driver pulling away by a few seconds on that first lap and just being able to hold on to that gap for the rest of the race. I do think you want to be near the front, and also you don't want to be far back in the pack, because you don't want to have to deal with that final couple of chicanes on the rolling start. Oh, well, it's not a rolling start, but even on the standing start, you're going to be back at the chicane basically, and potentially round a corner when you're starting the race. That's not what you want. You want to be starting on a nice straight piece of circuit. So yeah, I think qualifying is important around this circuit, and currently John Aldridge has absolutely nailed it. The drivers get 2 lap times, remember, but it's a tight one because it's such a long lap. You do not have to do an entire out lap, however, but that does mean that your tyres are very cold in that first lap, so I'm expecting a big improvement on the second.
Yes, we should see an improvement of at least, I'd say, 3 odd seconds, as those tyres, especially some of these drivers have said over the course of the season that these tyres can be an absolute handful, and really they're so hard to fire up, but then they're so easy to overheat, as if you make one lock-up, these tyres just absolutely kill themselves and fall off a cliff, and you'll be gone for many, many laps, and will probably get swallowed up by the entire pack, as we see. This is the position, as we ride on board with Tony Dibben. That is the position where you do start your lap. As you were saying, these tyres must be absolutely freezing cold. As we see Michael Bell going very close to pole, only missing out by around 300ths of a second. And around this track, that gap is so easy to find, to be honest, with how long it is, finding that gap. And oh my god, Philip Van Dien going 1.5 seconds quicker than the rest of the pack. What a lap by him. But I do believe that was that might have been his only lap.
That was his second lap, I believe. Oh yeah, I'm not 100% sure. A lot of drivers, I think, messed up their first lap and towed back to the pits to get their second lap. So that's been a tactic from a lot of the drivers. So everyone's pretty much separated out. We often see everyone cross the line at the same time. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case today, as Fuentes crosses the line and Blanco, they go 6th and 9th. Who else is out there? Tommy Vitsens. No, he's still stationary. JJ Blanco rounding the Porsche curves at the moment. He is the seed number 17. I'll get numbers up on screen in just a second. Also, those numbers indicating the driver's seeding. Number 1, the highest I-rated driver. Number 19, the lowest rated driver. Like it's going to approach the line, very easy to pick up a 1x and ruin your entire lap right at the end.
Absolutely. I've experienced it before. It's the worst feeling. The final few corners, getting I think it's the corner before the forward chicanes where you just go a tiny bit wide and you get a slowdown or an off track or both, and it just absolutely kills your vibe. And these drivers only get 8 minutes to qualify round here, which is very odd. I thought maybe iRacing would have allocated them more time, but I guess 8 minutes is the default for most iRacing series. I thought they might get at least 10 minutes to try and get 2 laps in, but 8 minutes is kind of close. But yeah, some of these drivers, the field is incredibly spread out. I mean, from first to 14th, sorry, 6 seconds. That gap is absolutely incredible to see. You do not see that around any other track. Maybe the Nordschleife, possibly, but I mean, that's like 8 odd minutes. But 6 seconds, I understand it's a long track.
I thought, sorry, Aaron, I thought Simos was going to get into the lap in. There was a couple of other drivers as well who were approaching the line and may have been on for significant improvements. But they ran out of time right at the end there. So, I mean, you're talking about 8 minutes isn't very long. It wasn't long enough for those guys. And I think we could have had a little bit of a reshuffle there right at the end, but we were denied it right at the close.
Yeah, they definitely do need to increase the time allocated for some of these drivers. But nevertheless, Philip Hurek is your man on pole today. John Aldridge lines up alongside him in second place, 1.5 seconds down. Michael Bell in third, Tony Didben in fourth, Scott Lear in fifth, Rafael Blanco, our race winner last weekend, in sixth place, Daniel Reshaw in seventh, Felix Samos in eighth, David Fuentes in ninth, Gaetano De Rosa in 10th, JJ Blanco 11th, Pablo Loves in 12th position. Then you have Robert Woodward in 13th, Steve Lovegrove in 14th, Bert Vanderbrand in 16th, Sandy Bootland in 17th, David Rowlinson in 18th, and Jack Kent in 19th place. 19 drivers on the grid around this very long track. I can imagine it's going to get separated very, very quickly as, yeah, 6 seconds. I mean, the field is surely going to spread out very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think that is a potential. Hopefully we've got a few drivers near the front. He can bat it out. Watch out for Tommy Vitsons. He didn't do a qualifying lap, it looked like. I don't know why. There he is. He's starting down in 15th position. He didn't get a lap, and he's the car number 1. Watch out for Vitsons. I think he could get a podium out of this, or maybe even a race win. After saying that qualifying is important, I might be contradicting myself a bit there, but we will see on that one. He will be storming through the field, no doubt, as the green lights are about to come on.
Yes, as we wait for the 5 lights to come on and eventually go out, as every single racing fan around the world loves to see, it's lights out and away we go here at Le Mans. And the pole sitter gets off to a fairly average start. John Aldridge has already overtaken him. And even third place man is already ahead of him. He's lost so many positions. Philip is already down to 4th place, even before we've gotten into turn 1, as they now barrel into the first corners. Your leader, John Aldridge, in 2nd place, followed by Michael Bell and Tony in 3rd. And your pole sitter has already lost 3 positions. What an absolutely awful start for the Benelux driver. An absolutely terrible start. He just couldn't seem to get the grip off the start. I don't know if he just lost grip, launched the clutch too early, but that was an absolutely horrible start for him, wasn't it, Sam?
It really was, and already we're getting a little bit of a divide here because these guys are battling against one another. This is Samos up a couple of places already. He is battling hard with Reshaw, and already we now got a 1.3 second gap between him and Blanco. That is the slipstream cut, but the top guy is still very close in fact. I think Aldridge might be about to lose the race lead here versus Bell. This is not going to be decisive by any means, but this is just early sparring here at Le Mans. And look at the tour as well that Vanden Herk and Dibden have behind. They have to lift out of it, and Blanco will gain car lengths on the pair. Then this is a bit more of an important one, who gets to the top of this train, and it is Scott Lear actually who managed to get to the top of that. So Samos and Reshaw were battling. Reshaw's actually lost quite a few positions there. He's down to 9th position.
JJ Blanco has had an incident somewhere in the back. He's fallen down the order. I'm not quite sure what happened. Sorry to cut you off, Sam. But what on earth happened there is we're going 3 wide down the Mulsanne for the lead of the race. You've got Philip on the left side as they come into the second chicane. Oh my lord, they just managed to squeeze their way through, and that gap that, as you were talking about, is already slowly starting to slip down, as I think I saw smoke in the background. Again, no idea who that was. I think that was David Rowlinson, and yes, it was. I think he just lost it all by himself. We'll have to...
Well, Lovegrove's a bit slow himself, so maybe they could have had contact with one another. I don't know why these guys are battling so hard. It's good fun, but that gap that they had to the rest, well, it's been decimated. Look at Leah, he's right back in there. I mean, top 5 were away and gone. Oh, that's a slowdown for Aldridge. My goodness me. Oh, well, you can't win the race in the first lap, but you can most likely lose it. And I think John Aldridge has just done that, because that's an awful mistake there. Cutting the Mulsanne corner, it looked like, because those bollards aren't actually real, they're just ghosts. And so if you cut the corner too much, you will get a penalty. Michael Bell moves to the lead of this race. I wouldn't count Aldridge out, but that is just the mistake that you do not want to make on that one. It is such a penalty, and he has dropped all the way down to 9th position now as Aldridge.
Yeah, from going from the lead of this race after turn 5 to falling all the way down to 9th place, as you said, that gap, I think it may just be too much, as the field is starting to spread out already, as that gap from 5th to 4th is around 1.5 seconds already. And if the guys at the front keep battling like this, I think that gap may come down again as it did previously in the lap, as Felix is all over the back of Scott Lear going through the Porsche curves. And wow, this lap 1 has been an absolute tale so far. It's been chaotic, with drivers going side by side down the Mulsanne, battling and slipstreaming each other. And now it slowly starts to settle down as a driver in the background. I think that was Reshaw going a little bit wide, coming out of the Porsche curves, and maybe got a slowdown. That's one of the easiest places.
Who got a slowdown, I think, and the car number 13 having to drop back. Loves is also in the mix. There he is. Blanco's up to 3rd position. Lots of changes so far. Let's see.
Oh, there's a car off in the background. Sorry to butt in again, Sam. I'm feeling so rude today, but I think that was... And I have no idea who that was. It's absolute chaos. Drivers just spinning off by themselves.
I think that was a pink car going slow at least. Woodward is there in 15th position. We've also had Lovegrove come into the pits. Like he may have made contact with Rolliston earlier on in the race. Also, Tommy Vittens has had a problem. Maybe it was Vittens who had the issue, because he was making his way up into the top 10.
Yes, I did expect him to very quickly make his way up into the top 10. But we'll maybe have a look and see what happened to him. And yes, we will. Thank you, Sam. As we head into the final few corners now. Oh, that looks very, very late on the brakes, and yeah, just braked way too late. And yeah, that was the driver who I think I saw in the background who was spinning off by himself. But this is the battle for 2nd place now, between Tony Dibden and our race last week.
So Bell lost position. So yeah, Bell lost. Must have got a slowdown somewhere, because he was battling for the lead, obviously. But he's now dropped back 1.5 seconds. He lost, 1.8 seconds in sector 1 on this lap. So I think a slowdown for Bell as well. And that is really costing these drivers bad. Bernard and Herc has broken the draft, and Blanco's got to make up this gap on pace now.
Yeah, that will be very difficult to do, as Scott Lear now getting past Bell. Yeah, getting a slowdown on this track is a death sentence almost, especially coming out of Dunlop as well. It is, oh god, and coming onto the Mulsanne, it can catch you off guard so easily. But the slipstream now is within Michael Bell's grasp. He's going to bump draft the British driver actually, and he doesn't really want to battle. It's sort of a long race. I mean, I guess 6 laps around this track, so they're just working together at the moment, which I'd say is a smart idea. They're trying to work together to try and get back up into the fight for the lead, but Philip already, after having a pretty woeful start, is already pulling away, as we see Bert van der Brand having a little bit of an incident at the Mulsanne corner, and Jack Kent as well. They most definitely had a coming together. There's no way they both just went off at the same time. But yeah, after that horrible first lap from Philip van Den. He's already back up into the lead of the race.
Yeah, there was an awful launch for him, but yeah, was able to make that up by the end of the first lap back into the lead of the race. So Mosley and Bell really fighting hard. If you get all these guys who have got to slow down will be absolutely furious with themselves. I mean, it's just the worst thing that can happen. Heck, even being taken out, you're like, all right, that wasn't my fault at least. But getting a slowdown, you think, why did I do that? Close racing here into the Porsche curves. So Mo stays ahead. And I wonder if that battle is really worth it. These guys need to figure out who's the faster out of them. And because these drivers race against each other quite a bit, not just in the strength of field race, but also midweek. And so they also know who's the fastest out of them and let them go at the front and tow the rest along. That's not really happening right now, though.
No, not absolutely. They should be thanking their lucky stars that netcode was on their side, because that was way too close for comfort. And Jack Kent going very wide at the Porsche curve. So we see the battle for 9th position between Pablo Loves, Gaetano De Rosa, and the car behind of David Fuentes. This is a pretty close battle, and probably the closest battle we have on track, I believe, apart from 4th and 5th. But yeah, the field is already spread out, and that's Samo's off into turn 1. And he's definitely carried way too much speed, judging by the skid marks, going into the first chicane. But let's have a look and see what happened. Going into the first corner, yeah. Thought so. Just
he
took
pulled away as well, hadn't he? Yeah, because he was with that battle with Lear and Bell, and yet he'd been able to pull away a few car lengths. And
he'll be picking himself. Oh. I'm not quite sure what happened there, if I'm being completely honest. But I mean, the in-game, yeah, Aldrich is in the pits.
Yeah, I think
the
it was
game.
Aldrich.
I may have forgotten to mute the game chat audio before the race, and they're going absolutely chaos. Oh my god! Good thing we don't have live comms on this stream. Oh my god! I cannot believe the words that I've just heard on the chat. One of the drivers clearly not happy with what's happened. I think that was Aldridge getting very, very annoyed on the comms. I can't really blame him, but as we look back to the battle for 4th place between... Yes, absolutely. These two going absolutely tooth and nail. They're trying to outsmart each other, trying to be like, oh, am I going to go for a move? No, you're going to go for a move. As the battle for 10th place, not as smart as it seems.
I think there may have even been some bump drafting between the two of them. That's what it looked like initially. Yeah, here we go. Now they're working together. And that's what you need to do if you're going to make up time. There's no point. And I know, like, you got the idea that maybe you can do it velodrome style, where one person goes ahead and then the other kind of slipstreams their way past, and you kind of gather momentum together. Most of the time it doesn't work. Even if your teammates at a high level, usually it doesn't work. If you're just two randos in a strength of field race, it's definitely not going to work. So don't try it, guys. Let's just stay in order, bump draft if possible, and that's how you're going to make up time. Don't overcomplicate it by any means. And I think that's really what they're doing at the moment. Albeit Bell just passed Lear, so maybe they're undoing that. Bootland's very close. Oh no, Bell's off the circuit. Okay, that's a curse. That is a curse. I think this might go off the circuit as well, because they're nearly 3 wide into Indianapolis. This is not the fastest line through the corner whatsoever. The car number 7 of Fuentes, a little bit early on the brakes, gets overtaken by 2 cars there, Bootland and De Rosa. De Rosa might be able to get up 2 places here. Late on the brakes. Brilliant stuff from De Rosa. He's up 2 places in 2 corners.
Yeah, that was very, very ballsy, as James Hunt would be very, very proud of that move. But Michael Bell coming into Indianapolis, apologies. Oh, all over the place. Just got his braking completely wrong, trying to overtake Rafael on the outside. Scott, apologies, I'm getting it all wrong today. Oh no, bloody hell. Going into Indianapolis, trying to go around the outside. He could have got it done though, but I think he was just a little bit too heavy on the brakes, locked the rears. Car got a little bit unsettled, and he went round and into the wall. But not too bad. That I don't think he needs to come into the pits, but these cars are extremely sensitive when it comes to damage. But that gap at the top in first place is still around 1.5 seconds, and possibly, if Tony can knock the pace up a notch or two, he could be in the slipstream range of Philip van den within the next lap or two.
This graph isn't very useful for this circuit because we have so few laps. There is the lap change as it's gone on. Doesn't tell you the whole story though, I think. If we go to sectors instead, might be a bit more insightful. Well, there you go. Oh, apologies, that's actually the wrong driver there. I do apologise. There you go. So actually it was even worse at Dibden. But yeah, that was 0.2 of a second slower through the first sector. What is Blanco doing at the moment? Blanco seems quite happy to just stay behind. Not too much of a rush to move up into second place. He is closing in on this lap though, 0.6 gain through the first couple of sectors due to that draft undoubtedly for the second sector at least. Dibden doing a decent job at that chicane.
I do think if anyone on the track needs to work together, it's going to have to be those two to try and catch back up to Philip. That's really their only chance of winning. Will Blanco try and make it 2 in a row as Reshaw? Oh, that's a heavy slam into the wall.
That beat game over.
Yeah, oh, yeah, his slipstream suspension. I cannot talk today. His suspension is broken, and that's a car going off.
Has gone off in the background. Well, we'll see Vitson's first because it popped up on my apologies. That's Fuentes. But this is Vitson's.
Vitson's going into the first chicane along the Mulsanne. I think he just got distracted, to be honest. Can't really see another reason why he'd spin there. Just got distracted by the chaos that was ensuing in front of him, and just too much mustard, as Austin Knight would say, coming out of the first chicane along the Mulsanne. And just a very simple mistake, but not one I thought I'd see. Someone like Tommy, someone of his experience, I wouldn't expect him to make that kind of mistake. But let's have a look at what happened to Daniel going on the exit of this chicane. As we're coming up to the braking zone now, everything looks pretty normal. I'm going to have a guess he just also gave it way too much welly on the exit. Yeah, oh, but much worse. He kept his throttle in. I think had he just held down the brakes, he probably could have gotten through that unscathed. It's a real shame for him, and that is his race done and dusted. It's pretty much, if you get damage in a race like this, it's game over. Pretty much, you may as well pull the car in, or you could keep fighting and hope for some retirements ahead. But now we look to the battle for 9th position between these three drivers. Probably the only battle really going on the track right now was second and third place sort of just working together to try and catch back up to Philip. But these guys have got nothing to lose. Absolutely send it into every single corner as we come now down to the Porsche curves.
Yeah, it's really spread out now around the circuit. In fact, I think at the front is one of the closest battles out there. You can see the gaps for yourself, and you can also see the gains. Not really many drivers gaining lots of positions right now. Van Brabant, new driver to the Strength of Field events. He's up 7 places. Ooh, we've doubted James the lead. What's happened to Van den Hurk? Is that a slowdown for Van den Hurk? I can only imagine it must be, because he was well clear just a moment ago before I take away the gap. And yeah, now he's lost that pole position. Yeah,
he lost 1.5 seconds in the final sector, so that's 100%. And I can picture in my head the exact corner he did it at. I'm going to have a guess it was on the exit of the Porsche curves. Oh, no, I was wrong. Oh, no, it wasn't even a slowdown.
He did probably got a slowdown, but yeah, it was mainly the thing that came before the slowdown, which hurt him. And wow, unusual to see Philip make a mistake like that. Seed number 4, and it's Dibden who leads the race with just a few laps to go. And I honestly cannot see these guys breaking the job from here on in. Aaron, I think this is the trio that we are going to see nose to tail to the end of the race.
Absolutely, the field is massively spread out. Yes, it is only lap 5, but it's a 3.5 odd minute, actually 3 3/4 lap. It's a very long lap in these cars compared to the likes of the LMP cars. It's around similar to, I think, the GT3, GTE class in terms of speed. They have a lot more downforce than the GT3s and GTEs, but lack a little bit in straight line speed, but with the slipstream, I think they match them. But the battle for the top 3 now to stand on the top tip of the podium will carry on until the end of the race. Philip will be gutted with himself that he made that mistake, and surely will get his head down, try and overtake Tony, as he did earlier on in the race on lap 1 after his pretty poor start. And he does have the fastest lap of the race so far, as you can see on your left. His lap around 0.3 of a second quicker than anyone else. So you can definitely say the pace advantage is with Philip at the moment.
Yeah, he seemed very comfortable in the lead, didn't he? And I feel like whenever you're in the lead in a scenario like that, particularly around this circuit where it's so easy to pick up slowdowns, you're going to leave a bit on the side. You're not going to push the car to its absolute max. So, yeah, it's unusual that he made that mistake when he did maybe a slight lack of concentration. As Dibden being caught here, he is going to go for the move. It's Vanden Hurk, who lost the lead on lap 1. He's lost the lead again. Both times he's retaken it, and he is up back into the lead. It's Philip Vanden Hurk. That's not conclusive by any means. Plenty of time to come back. We've got one more lap to go, but Vanden Hurk looks like he will lead going on to the last lap.
I do have to say that was a ballsy and very, very impressive overtake from Philip around the outside of Indianapolis. That is incredible. I think Bell has been overtaken by Simoes in the background.
Yeah, went off circuit. We'll get a replay of it now that battle has just ended. Bootland going ahead of Brabant. Oh, too late on the brake. Oh no, so he locked up the brakes initially, or locked up the rears initially. I think that overheated the tyres probably. Oh, good awareness. Well, I mean, good awareness would have been for him to not try to rejoin the circuit in the first place. But good vision at least to not rejoin straight into traffic.
Yeah, he's not really had the best of luck at that corner, and again the comms in game are going absolutely mental. But Tony's retaking the lead. I didn't even realise, is it?
Yeah.
While we were watching the replay of Michael, Tony got back into the lead, and it was coming down into the Porsche curves. This is going to be an even more ballsy overtake than Philip just did on him. Going to the inside of the first part of the Porsche curves. I think Philip just decided to let him go, to be honest. But nevertheless, still a very impressive overtake. And that's Philip spun round at turn 1.
We're spending all our time on replays right now, but we'll get there, guys. It was. Was it
on the white flag?
A tap? No, there wasn't. It was all by himself. Oh, Philip, mate, you didn't need to push it that hard. You were in the draft. Blanco does a brilliant job at avoiding. Well, could Blanco win this race because he's the one who's making the least mistakes right now?
Can
the gap
Raphael
is within the. He is within the slipstream right now. The gap is coming down.
Well, it is the white flag, and this is the battle for the lead between Tony Dibden and Raphael Blanco. This is going to be absolutely incredible until the checkered flag. It's going to be so close. These drivers are going to want the checkered flag to come as quickly as possible. Philip is out of the fight. He's 3 seconds back. He's made too many mistakes this race, and he will be gutted with himself, surely. And I do feel for the man, but you got to not make mistakes if you're going to win in motor racing. And Blanco is gaining. He is gaining the gap only 0.3 now. And surely he's going to go for the move into the chicane. Or will he be patient going into the Mulsanne hairpin? We will see. Is he going to pull out alongside? He's just going to hold back for now. Coming into the second chicane of the Mulsanne. And he's just going to hold off now. He just has to be patient. As I didn't mention this, Tony does look a little bit all over the place this lap. Going into turn 1, he made a mistake himself before Philip lost it, but Blanco is going to pull alongside Tony. They are going side by side. This is going to be a battle all the way down into the hairpin. Unless Tony backs out of it and tries to get more slipstream, this will just be a massive slipstream battle, but who's going to be last on the brakes? It looks like Blanco has just got a nose ahead. He's going to go into the Mulsanne hairpin, and he is just ahead of Tony. Oh my word. This is an absolutely incredible battle for the lead that we didn't even think we'd get this entire race. We thought it was going to be a whitewash with Philip at the top. But, I mean, I'm not complaining. This is incredible battling. Tony, this is possibly his last good overtaking opportunity coming into Indianapolis. They're going side by side down this straight. Blanco just lets him through. He may try and go for an overtake into Porsche curves, but he's going to have to play this smart. And I'm not sure there's much Tony can do now. There's only one more overtaking opportunity realistically, and it is on this straight that we are going towards now. And they are bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel, these two drivers on this final lap, fighting for victory. But Philip is catching. He is catching, but I don't think it will be enough. Raphael pulls alongside as we come down to the Porsche curves. These guys are going to go side by side. They are not going to give an inch to each other. And Tony slips into the Porsche curves and just manages to get the car slowed down. I think Raphael just was a little bit too cautious, and it's going to cost him the win today at Le Mans. And there's not really any more Raphael can do. As we come now out of the Corvette curves into the Ford curves, I may be getting those corner names completely wrong, but I do not care. This has been an absolutely incredible battle for the final, on the final lap of the race, for the race win. But as they come round the final corner, it is going to be Tony Dibden who is your race winner today at Le Mans, as Philip makes another mistake in the final corner. He is your race winner today, Tony Dibden. Rafael Blanco in second place. What an absolutely incredible last lap. Absolutely amazing racing from these guys. Oh, what a race, Sam.
Absolutely crazy right there, and credit to Dibden, he absolutely nailed that one. I thought Blanco was going to have him, honestly. Oh, that's a big spin for Van Brabant right at the end. I thought, yeah, I really backed Blanco to get the run, but if anything, maybe Blanco was a little bit too close. He didn't really get the momentum, and also Dibden knew from the previous lap, if you have the inside line going into the Porsche curves, there's very little the opponent can do. But great car control, great braking under huge pressure there for Tony on that final couple of corners. Gets himself a nice bit of iRacing, and that was a super well-deserved win.
Yeah, Tony, congrats to him. That last few laps, battling with Philip, overtaking him cleanly, and Philip making way too many mistakes. I'm very surprised, honestly. I do feel bad for the guy, but at the end of the day, if you make mistakes like that, you're not going to win races in motorsport. He had incredible pace, and commiserations to him for getting pole and for holding on to the lead for so long. But it just wasn't meant to be today. Hopefully he can bounce back in the coming weeks. Rafael Blanco could have gotten another race win today, but I believe, Sam, that's 4 different race winners in 4 races.
I think you're right, yeah. So that is something quite unusual to see, and could see it being so competitive thus far this season. As Kent crosses the line, he loses some iRacing, but he was the last seed, so he does better than what was expected in a way, but still not a great day for him there. As we go to the results.
Oh, well, the results of today's race after what was, well, chaos. There's not really any other word to describe it, to be honest, but nevertheless, Tony Dibden, your race winner here at Le Mans today. Congratulations to him. That was an incredible performance. Rafael Blanco just missing out on the race win, but an impressive second place from starting 6th. Philip van der Hoek in 3rd place, disappointing after starting from pole. Scott Lear in 4th, Felix Simoes in 5th place, Michael Bell in 6th, disappointing after starting inside the top 3. Padlo Loves in 7th position, David Fuentes in 8th, Andy Bootland in 9th, Bert van der Brandt in 10th place, Gaetano De Rosa in 11th place. Tommy Wittens in 12th. Really expected more from him, but yeah, still gaining from where he started. Robert Woodward in 13th. David Rollingstone in 14th. Steve Lovegrove, 15th place. Jack Kent, your last proper finisher, in 16th. And then you have Daniel Reshaw, JJ Blanco, and John Aldridge, your retirements in the race. Oh, that was a lot more chaotic than I thought it would be. I have to be honest. I did think towards the middle part of the race that Philip was going to run away with it. As I said, he had incredible pace, but just too many mistakes from him today, which really did cost him the win, Sam.
Yeah, it did, and we'll take a little bit of a replay actually of the race start and try to get a nice blimp view. That's not going to be great. Let's get a chopper view instead. Oh, Benton had start because it was a rubbish one, and that was him leaving the start line much slower than everyone else, and he got really swallowed up. Remarkably, by the end of this lap, he was back in the lead. It did not take him too long to be able to make his way through. But yeah, immediately dropped down to 4th place, and then you can see Blanco there. Of course, he was starting a little bit further down the order. He only started in 6th place. Blanco Dibden only started in 5th position. And of course, it was Aldridge at this point who was leading the race line, which feels so long ago. But Aldridge, it really went south for him a couple of laps into the race.
Yeah, it's what could have been for John today. That start was hyping us up to be like, oh my god, we're going to have an absolutely chaotic battle for the lead, which we did in the end, but sadly, John Aldridge was not part of that crew. Philip making too many mistakes, which cost him victory. The start was pretty woeful. Too many mistakes during the race, especially during the final corner. He made, I think, 2 odd mistakes in the final corner, and then obviously that very costly mistake into turn 1. But nevertheless, we've had absolutely incredible racing here at Le Mans, and I have completely forgotten where we're going to next week, but wherever it is, I'm sure we will have absolutely fantastic racing, as we always seem to do in these radicals. They are absolutely entertaining to watch, as we're going to Watkins Glen next week. There you go, I found it out in the end. But nevertheless, I have been Aaron Smith, joined by Sam Fitzpatrick here at Le Mans at Apex Racing TV, and I hope all of you have an absolutely superb end to your day. Have a good one.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.